Alrighty, Doc here from North America. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. What do we have going on today? Well, everybody's staring at the CPI. Hey Jordan, hey Robin. Everybody's staring at the CPI for tomorrow, and the PPI on Thursday. So that should be truly entertaining, if nothing else. The numbers so far, the pre-numbers are looking kind of high, making new 40-year highs. Heading back towards the end of the Jimmy Carter years and the starting off of Ronald Reagan. Basically watching inflation, go down slow and steadily during the Reagan years, from the highs of the previous administration. So we'll see how this all plays out. But it's things are looking better and better. We're getting closer and closer. Fuel prices. Just a whole bit, Metho 2000. And thank you, Jordan. So we'll see how it all plays out. We start off with on J4X, we got the dollar index. And over on Chicago Quant, we have a dollar index up. Kind of interesting to see that strength still kicking out. We're in that weekly buy now for over 6 weeks. And they keep on buying dollars and obviously selling gold. Glad to see you, Metho. It's just a matter of getting this all cooled off. Time for silver today. Yeah, let's take a look at silver instead of gold. All right, let's do that. We were saying it yesterday that what it really seems to come down to is the arbitrageurs. You see it here under the $19 area. The arbitrageurs. They're selling metals, buying dollars. They're hedging. They're selling I don't think they're selling metals long. I think they're selling them short, and they're trying to compensate for the long position in their dollar positions. That type of thing. I think that's really what it comes down to. So, it does makes it a little disappointing that the fundamentals are superseded by the arbitrage and the central banks, and so, here we are seeing, 40-year highs in inflation, and we're seeing, 5-year lows in silver or something like that. It's a little crazy. Let's take a look at silver on J4X. It is. It's a definitely a shake your head moment. It's like, wait a minute, aren't we seeing inflation? Let's put the silver up there on a weekly basis, and we'll make it the whole screen like that. Let's see how that plays out. All right, so that's back to August of 21, so that's a year ago. Okay, so basically back in 19. All right, so there's the top, I guess, something like that, right in here. In the 19 area, we've pierced that top, and I guess the low was, can you imagine that? Back in 2000... what was it? 2019, they took this product down to $11. So it's a 3-year low. It's like, are you kidding me? Just how can it not be the opposite effect? Why isn't it not trading at 35 instead of 18 right now? It's like, because I guess in many ways, Mr. Powell was right. Inflation will be known as transitory. It's just going to be transitory over a couple-year period. And so when you look at this, longer-term view of the metals complex, you just want to shake your head at it. Let's put a monthly up there and see what that looks like. We'll go. That probably pushes us back into 2012. Okay, look at that. So, look at that big bottom in the, I guess 11, 12 area, something like that. And then you had this crazy slam down in March of 220. And it led to a great move up to the 29 area. Is that almost 30? So yeah, we just follow our math. That's all we can ever do in the end result. Just follow the math. But it is kind of, just the fundamentals have been thrown out the door. That's the sad part, and it drives me crazy. And here you can see it on Chicago Quant. There's the September, And you see, overall we've been in a weekly sell for, I don't know, something like 16 out of 17 weeks or something like that. I see all the way back to the top here, and on no, it's April 14th. So what's that? That's like 12 weeks. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10th week we went into a buy, went back to a sell the next week. 11, 12, 13, 14 weeks. So 13 of the last 14 weeks we've been in a weekly sell, from the 26 change area down to the 18 and change area. That's all we can ever do is follow the math. Matter of fact, what's kind of really screaming at us, besides that daily sell at the very beginning that just went south for, let's see, I think that's moved over one like that. From there it went into a daily sell and just stayed in there all the way to, I guess, like right in here. Let's steal one of these buys and just move it over. I'm gonna grab one of these buys like that. There. So you can see there, it went into a buy for like a week and then rolled over again, another good sell-off, and went into a buy there, and it was okay, and then it sell-off there was kind of sloppy. You barely, or you lost money maybe at that point. Then you went into a buy there, was a spike up, but again we're in that weekly sell, so you wouldn't take the long anyway. Then it goes into a sell there, and it's a winner. And then I guess right there, yeah, there we go. That's the sell right there. And so it took a little work. No, that was a loss right there. And then it was a win and made it all back. And we've been in a sell ever since. So it does defy the concept of fundamentals, without a doubt. It does make you wanna just throw up. Now let's take a look at let's go esoteric here, okay? Let's really slide out there. Now think about this: the Bitcoin, the cryptos. So let's take a look at there is Bitcoin in July, and so they're pushing into a sell today, but it's been in that long weekly sell from pretty much a week after. It was basically the 14th again too. Yeah, same thing. Went into a weekly sell right at the top of the. That's the curious point. It went into the sell right on the 14th that week. Okay, just like the way silver did. Let's just show you again. So there was silver right there, and there on the 14th. Should be back one, I guess, something like that. Yeah, right there. So, that's interesting. And the silver went into a weekly sell back then, and the Bitcoin went into a weekly sell. I mean, how can talk about fundamentals being off course? We heard so much for so long that the cryptos could be that alternative to the currencies, and the alternative to the metals, and the alternative to the stock indices. And instead, it's a part of them. It's like a component of them. For so long, I sat there and said, "Yeah, I think this is the antithesis, the opposite side of the central banks." But it's just part of the gang at this point. Cryptos are the one cool thing about cryptos is you're able to use them to execute across the planet. So they act like a currency, but they're not. They act like they're a inflation hedge. No, they don't act like they're an inflation hedge, but they were supposed to do so. They're supposed to represent all those things that so far hasn't worked. Maybe over time it'll happen. See, I think that quantitative easing is a great distortion on everything, and I think that when you are concerned about the the whole thing, I bought Wisdom Tree daily 3 times X leverage. Is that bullish or bearish? The Wisdom Tree. Let's go find that. Wisdom Tree 3x. Yeah, see, they have both. They have a bull and they have a bear. I just, what do we got here? Long. Okay, cool. Well, I'll tell you, let's go over to the stock indice. We are flirting with a weekly buy. I can't, I mean, that's a good thing, but it's the beginning of the week. So there's the S&Ps. You can see we're just flirting with it. We're seeing the same thing in the Tech 100, flirting with it, and over in the Dow Jones Industrial Average, flirting with it. See that? All three of them are. So we talked about this last week. How it looks like we could go start climbing over the weekly buy number and possibly take a digestion or take a correction from this, make a higher low, and then the horses are out of the barn and they're off and so forth. ETN. Oh, is that the symbol of it? ETN? I can try to put that up on the screen. Let's see. Oh yeah. Well, so yeah, I think that metals have to be considered a long-term product. There's no doubt about that. So, is let me see what ETN is. Oh, okay. Let me just double check it. Not that. What's that? Crisis in physics. Okay, not that. Crisis in physics. Quantum magazine. It's talking about the crisis in physics. The little parts. Okay, let's check out ETN. See if ETN is no, ETC. Okay, let's punch that up in there. Let me see. ETC is Ethereum Classic US dollar. So that's Ethereum. What about the Wisdom Tree, the triple X on Wisdom Tree? I'll go look it up. Wisdom Tree 3x long. Let's see what the symbol is. Estee Lauder, blah, blah, blah. That doesn't make any sense. Pfizer. What are they doing with me? Wisdom Tree. U.S. long. 3x. Wisdom Tree. Why don't I get it? That's odd. Dark mode. Do you know what the symbol is for? So it's an ETN. Okay. Silver euro. That's an interesting pairs trade. You got some really interesting things there you're looking at. Let's see where. Let's just real quick. I'm just going to jump over and see where the euro is this morning. I know it was in a sell last night. Still is. It's holding that century mark still. Yeah, I'd. So the Wisdom Tree is a tool of the. It's the long in England. Is that what that is, or the long in the U.S., or just the long across the planet? 3 silver. Let me copy that and see if I can get that to tell me something. Let's see. Let's try it right there. SL Wisdom Tree Silver 3x daily. Oh, so you're long silver. Okay. Let's see if we can, and that's UK. I see. Wisdom tree 3 SIL. Huh. Okay. Well, that makes sense. I have a lot more faith. You know what? The pound is going to get some legs in it sooner or later against the dollar. The dollar can't, let's put it this way. I don't know how long this crazy bull is going to go on, but you got to figure that the Fed Reserve is not going to be allowed to play this game much longer. Let's put it that way. They're going to have to start doing some more responsible stuff and stop interfering, So I expect to see the dollar back off to some extent, over the next 6 months. We're we're in July now, so I'd say the next 9 months. Yeah, that's the way I look at it. But then, like I said, we watched the numbers, and it would be nice to see silver actually dig in, start to get some support in here. Look at it there. It's just playing around with 3-year lows. It'll be interesting. They have the quantitative easing is disrupting all fundamentals. That's what it really comes down to. All the fundamentals are upside down, and they don't make a lot of sense. So, all right. What else can we look at here? I guess let's go back to the currencies. Should we do that? We can take a look at GBP. I think GBP has the potential to really go somewhere on the upside. There we are. There's GBP. It tried to get into the buy one Friday, and it just rolled right over again. And I think we had a red and a green, so we didn't label it as a buy on our sheets. Now it seems I can think if there's a red underneath there. That's why there's no green line there. And you can see, we've been in a weekly sell since almost the same situation. Look at that. All the way back to the week after the top in silver. So silver topped out in a weekly sell. I wonder how many times that happens where we get into a weekly sell in silver, and a week later we get into a weekly sell in cable. Wonder if that's a real good tip-off, I bought at Milano, Italy. Okay. London is silver against dollars. Yeah, I just kind of keep on thinking that we're going to see a better market in the cable, and it seems like it's trying. But look, we've been in a weekly sell, for 13 weeks straight. It does not want to let go. It just does not even close. So, that's that it is really cool, Now, let's see. Where do we go from there? From there, I guess we've seen the euro. The euros. Let's put the cable up on J4X. But we've seen the euro situation too, and that is that the euro is just rolling over. Oh, Jordan says, dollar yen 1 hour chart when you can. Well, I can right now. How's that sound? So let's take a look at that. We may even have it on there for you. There's the 30-minute. We got a 30-minute, so that'll be easy to fix. There we go. There's a 1 hour. Let's give it more time. See what it looks like. That goes back to the 8th. There it goes back to the a little bit shorter. Let's throw it up on the screen here. All right. Now let's see what you say. You say we can. Let me kill this volume here so I can hear us too. There it is. So when you can, okay, we did. Let's see, and it does look like a triangle shape you mentioned the other day. Yeah, it's like a plateau thing going on. It was trying to do a triangle, but it was more like a head and shoulders, and that's the head right there, and then that's a higher shoulder. That's the lower shoulder, and what is that? That's I know. Let's take a look at the daily on that too, because the daily popped up big yesterday, right? Yeah, there it is. So they put that high in there, and there's the daily. You can see that, and it's still in a daily buy and a weekly buy. 2, 4, 6, 7th week there. Boy, it went into the daily buy at the 127-ish area, or the 129 area, and run to 37 and change. What's the high there? 37.75. And then we go back to the hourly. And where's that at? Right there. Right there. There it is. So they're backing it off a little bit in there, and you can see, following the math fairly well. No major complaints. Let's see. Let's give it a recycle, so it looks a little better, like that. There we are. But that was a fun one, wasn't it? You go into the buy right there, and then you get that whole ride. Not a big fan of hourlies, but there it is. I kind of, I guess when we were talking about this before last week, I was thinking that we were going to get a pop and then maybe a back and fill. I would think that something like that will go on. And that's how I look at it at this point. Really kind of think that we're going to see like some type of maybe some weakening of the dollar somewhere. I mean like I'm really reaching here. We're not getting the signals for it, but we just keep on seeing it climb and then climb again and then climb again. It just doesn't seem to want to give up. So we're really at a point now where we're really waiting for that shoe to drop. And I kind of think it's the election. We got 3 months to the election now: August, September, and October. So 3.5 months, because we're only halfway through to July. Yeah, when it comes to Metho 2000 with the silver, I don't blame you. You got to dollar cost average into that. Just keep on dollar cost averaging in. You got to assume that between now and the next 2 years, it's got to be higher. If nothing else, the level of responsibility by the new government that will come into Washington at the election this year will probably help out a lot. It should help the metals. That's why I keep on thinking metals will look better going into 2023. Indeed. All right. From there, let's take a look at what else we got to take a look at. Go take a look at the Turkish lira. There's Turkish lira right there on a dollar sign. And let's take a look at it over here on J4X. Right there. It's been just climbing and climbing. We're playing the top end of the range. This is going to be real interesting. Whatever they've done in Turkey is definitely not working out well for the Turkish currency. And when not many things you can say about Metho, there's not many things you can say about dollar cost averaging in and feeling relatively comfortable, but you got to figure that if you can't dollar cost into the metals, then you got to figure that you can't dollar cost into anything. So yeah, I think that's a good move. I think that is when it backs off, you jump in and grab a little more. All right, now let's take a look at the Euro Turkish lira. Right there. Let's see, right. All right, there you go. You can see here, there's more pressure on the euro to stay down than the dollar, where it is going up. So I guess that's the weakness of the. It may not be the weakness of the Turkish lira as much as it could be the weakness of the dollar, the strength of the dollar. That's probably the bigger part of it all. And you can see it there when it's the Turkish lira, which is definitely a product that is trading much more because they're a neighboring nation. Just the way like Canada and Mexico stay in a nice range here in the States. Because they're neighboring nations. We have a lot of cross-border stuff going on. And it's like the same thing there, same type of situation. And that's why we kind of focus in on the Turkish lira pairs euro instead of dollar Turkish lira. Because I mean everything is shadowed by this quantitative strength. It's just doesn't let go. All right, from there we'll take a look at our neighbor, the Canadian. Right there. There's the CAD. And it's lifting up, and that means usually that oil is going down in value. Let's take a look at it here. Same thing, it's lifting up. And we're in a weekly buy. Whoop. Right there, we're in a weekly buy. And we're back into a daily buy again, and it's lifting up. And what do we see here? We see, let's go take a look at oil real quick, but I believe oil is down. I heard someone say that on one of the broadcasts this morning. Yeah, there we are. So it's just playing with, this is the front month no less. This is playing with the 99 area right now. And it's been underneath. So that pressure on the price of oil is felt with our neighboring country, Canada. It's the same situation. And that's and then see, while we're here, we'll go to. I'm curious to see where Brent C is. There's Brent trading at 102, down only $2, whereas West Texas is down. What did it do? It closed at 103.46 and it's trading at 103.46. So 99.46 would be $4. So I thought Brent closed down about $2, something like that. And that's pretty much the story of it all. And then from there, because oil is moving down, we have Canadian moving up against the dollar, so it's losing value against the dollar. And then what we get is we get the where's it at? Let's go over to it. Then we get like gold and so forth. Feeling the different pressure on it. And then obviously because this is still losing value, we would assume automatically that South African rand is rising still against the dollar. In other words, it's losing value. You see all that green there. And then right there, right there, and it's down a little bit, but it's still being pressured with that buy. And gold always does seem to lead that currency really well. Just the way oil leads the Canadian, or is it they're synonymous together on some level or another? They work together in a point where you see that when the Canadian is going strong against the dollar, more than likely oil is gaining in value, and vice versa. There's a many different little arbitrages that can be done because of the dollar-denominated position of it, and at the same time you can short it or do something that you can arbitrage it on some level. Pairs trade it. So. Now, let's jump over to, we saw the yen, but we can take a quick look again at the yen just to see if we missed anything out of it. There it is right there. Yen is trying to back off from yesterday's big pop. And we'll see what goes with that. Now, from there, we'll go over to the Mexican peso. There you go. You can see there's the Mexican peso getting through the 50 percentile area now. Acting pretty well that way. You can see this weekly buy. It took a lot of work to get it to go. And then the second time over here, whatever, I'm not sure what happened here. This at one point this was a plus. We talked about it yesterday. But one thing is for sure, it was above and that was above. And boy, look at that strength that kicked out of it. And we're still on that ride. I guess when you're losing, the Mexican peso is losing value against the dollar. Not much. It trades very tight in between, say, the 19 and change and 21 and change, which is really good. You know, it's one of the tighter currencies around compared to, you know, all the others we've seen over the last couple of years, which is very impressive. They are an oil nation, Mexico, but then they have their issues with law and order and so forth. But I mean, overall, it seems to be a really good neighbor, doing lots of interesting things, and especially having oil. So can't complain there. All right, from there, that's pretty much the end of the currencies, unless someone wants to see something. We drift over to the metals complex and the energy complex, and we take a look at those things and see how they're trading out. So let's do that. And we've already seen Brent, but we'll put Brent up there again. There's Brent. And you can see Brent is playing with the low lows, you know, of the last couple months. And then obviously we can go to the back month in crude oil. So you see there, it's just flirting with the 100 area. That's the front month, and then we go to the October contract right there. And you can see the pressure on that. It's trying to drop underneath and get into a sell. Both are in weekly sells for weeks now. So it has been, you know, pressuring itself on the downside. Let's see, what else can we say about that? I guess that's about it. Now let's take a look at nat gas. There we are, like that. And then nat gas, right there. Was flirting with a sell this morning when we sent it out. Obviously, it's disappeared. You can see the weekly's been in a weekly sell from this area here, and it went into a weekly sell, daily sell there. You know, the pressure's been on it, but it's not the worst. It was up in the 9s, you know. So I mean, we're down in the 6s, and poor Europe is in the 20s. Like, see what it looks like in the European market right now. Let's see. Let me see. All right, right there. Let's see. There it is, right there. Is that it? Excuse me. There it is. Good. We've broken the 28 again on the downside. Good. You know, I hate to see that thing pushing up. I'd love to see it down to 20 or something like that. You can see in the States here we're paying $6.60. I would be happy to see $12.60 over in Europe. I mean, just cut that down. Right now we're trading at 27 and change. Almost 28. It was over 28 yesterday. It was like 28.25, something like that. So, you know, they keep on talking about all the Russian energy sources being shut off, but you know, it's a very fungible, that's what they refer to it as, fungible. In other words, if someone stops buying something from somebody, someone else is going to sell them something, you know. Money will prevail in the end. Open markets will prevail in the end. So that's that is the issue of it all at the moment. We're hoping to see, like, nice, understand the Israelis are going to start exporting to Egypt and Europe. So that'll be good. It's right in the Mediterranean. It's basically the same distance as the Russian oil. So both have to travel water. It's just that it'll come in through the south of of the European Union compared to coming in through the north. And that is really the whole process right there. Yeah, that's the name of the game. And this gas in particular. I guess, I hear they're going to fire up the nuclear reactors, which doesn't take long, which is good. And get the nuclear reactors back online to provide energy. Clean energy it is. I don't understand the anti-attitude about it all. But if we didn't have nuclear, we wouldn't have anything. We are nuclear. We are atomic. Now, let's see. Is there anything left on the energy side? I guess not. So what we'll do is drift over to the metals complex again. We'll start off with silver. That's gold. Wow, gold has been rolling over. That's gold. Let's see. Wow. What a smash. You would think that there was no inflation. There's the silver. Same thing. Matter of fact, that looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. So we're coming into that 5 bounce. Then let's look at copper. Right there. Same thing. Big slide going on all these things. Put it up over here. There's the silver in September. And then let's take a look at copper. Right there. Pushing down again. Just missed a sell yesterday by a hair. And then it's pushing in there now. And then you can see we're in the weekly sell for the 5th week now. So obviously there was no way you would be long throughout this. The most is that you're missing a good opportunity. That's all. And that's what you give. What you give up is losses, which is a real good thing. So in other words, sometimes you don't get every trade following the math here, but it keeps you safe. And so you catch some nice waves down and stay away from a lot of losses. And that's really the name, is to live the fight another day. That's really the answer to it all. All right, another sip of the drink this morning. So copper's that way. So that's pretty much it. We've looked at the metals. We've looked at the energies. We'll take a look at the stock indices. There's the S&P 500. It is flirting with a daily sell, nothing major, and flirting with its weekly buy, as we said earlier. I kind of think that we'll find some strength in here. The news comes out tomorrow. That should, I don't know. Some are saying that what they're this is what we're. First of all, let's talk about the whole ball of wax. In this case here, interest rates are dropping again. Right? They're already anticipating when the Fed will start cutting. So what they'll do is they'll put another 3/4 increase in. They'll pretend that the market is happy. And so then what will happen is maybe in September there may not be a rate increase. Or maybe they'll just raise it 1/4 and make everybody feel comfortable. Let's see, we're at 1.5 3/4 now. So 3/4 more put us to 2.5 basically. And then I guess it's 2 1/4 to 2.5. And then, the bonds are trading at the 3s. Let's just go over to the bonds. As you can see here, bonds are in a weekly buy. They're not giving up. As this rises, interest rates drop. We went into a buy here with the weekly buy. It was a wonderful move. And then we went into a sell here, and we stayed in the weekly buy with no problem. And you can see here, now they're trying to jump back into that weekly buy right there. We've gotten that volatility signal right there. So interest rates are dropping at the moment, which is a conundrum a true conundrum when you have this inflation in the 8% area. The old school would have said you have to have your interest rates around the 8% to stop it. Now, in this case here, the most of the inflation is from government policy. So, what everybody's looking at is that once the government changes in the House and the Senate, the government policy will stop. And so they can actually probably pull back some of this stuff. And not all of it, because Biden is president still. But they'll be able to change a lot of it. And so markets are actually anticipating going into the end of next, I guess it's like July of next year, they're anticipating interest rate drops. So a year from now, they expect, the markets are reflecting it, that they're going to drop interest rates. And you got to figure that there's a good chance that we could see inflation come down to like 4.5%, 5.5% under a new government. And that's probably what we're really, really, really viewing at this moment in time. You got a schizophrenic type market that is doing those crazy things. They really, we have inflation more because of government, and so less of like the old-fashioned supply chain situation. So, I mean, if we had lower priced oil, nowhere near the inflation would be occurring at the moment. And we were the world's largest oil producer no more than 2 years ago. So, 3 years ago, we were the largest oil producer in the world. So we can get back to that relatively quick when we have a responsible government. And that opens the doorway for Europe and the rest of them to buy from other places, closer, cheaper. And at the same time, we could even ship. Let's see, Bidenflation, greenflation. Yeah, basically that's all it is. It's nothing more than that. Perfect, Metho. You described it best. And so that's where we're at. So we figured that, I think the markets are basically saying that to us too. They're going, yeah, we know it's not the normal inflation, it's stupidity. It's got that look to it, and then you got to figure that they're pricing the bonds to go back into a discount in the next year. So that really makes you shake your head and go, wait a minute. Don't we have inflation or we don't have inflation? Well, there's a lot of money out there that believes that it's going to go away quick. Probably, to a certain extent. I guess when they started, can we really give credit to Mrs. Yellen and Mr. Powell that they started calling it transitory for a whole year? Oh, what's that? The bonds, yeah, that's what's crazy. And Christine Lagarde inflation, exactly. So, in many ways they were right. It's transitory. It's just that it's been really sloppily done, and is it like what do they call that? A Freudian slip? Did they start calling it transitory because they believe that in the end result is that the government is going to change. It's definitely going to change, and it'll stop a lot of this foolishness. Now, there's no doubt that he's doing some really sloppy things that make increased costs on everybody. But working around that could be transitory in many ways. It's just that it's not transitory over a 3-month period. It's more like a 3-year period. All right. Now, and you're talking about Jordan. You're talking about the bonds, right? Yeah. I mean, I think it's really amazing. Let's put it on J4X and get a longer view of it. So the 30-year bond. Let's see if we can find it here. I know it's on there. They do the U.S. bonds. There it is right there. No, that's Boone. There it is right there. There's the 30-year. Yes, as the price drops, interest rates rise. And now, in many ways, looks like it's trying to form up as some type of reverse head and shoulders, or a head and shoulders bottom. And there's one shoulder, there's the head, and this might be the other shoulder right here. And it could vacillate in this area for a while like that, and then the next thing you know is, the government has changed here, and then that's only going to give it more energy because they're going to see responsibility, which I think is going to translate into a metals complex. I really think that the metals could probably firm up from it all. Yeah, it's strange. You've named Metho's named all three of the blame reasons why we have crazy inflation. And there's four reasons: Lagarde and Merkel. Just bad policies. Shutting down nuclear power plants and stopping clean coal, things like that. Just forcing people to pay more money and businesses to pay more money to transport. All that has really made it into a calamity, just a true calamity. So now, what should we do now? Let's go to the tech area. We'll look at the Tech 100. And that's it right there. You can see that thing is trying to do the same thing. It's trying to lift up. Slipping into a little sell for the daily, but we'll see. It's plus now. Actually, it's plus. Let's go over to the short term. So right there it is right there. It's up 46. When I started this webinar, it was minus. And the Dow Jones Industrial Average is still down 140, but this thing's up 45 points. And the S&P 500 is down 7 points. So you see that action. Yeah, when we started this webinar, which was like right... Where is it at? Like right in here. Let me just double check here. Okay, right there. The product was trading at 11,866. And now we're trading at 11,933. So that's 34. That's like 70 some odd points. It was minus 20 some odd points. Now it's plus 45. And money has been I've been hearing some talk about it in that arena, in that area, that they're thinking like, you buy things like Apple Computer now. Let's take a look at Apple Computer. Let's go check that out. Let's see, where is it at? Not there. Let me just cancel that for a second. Go like that. Go like that. There we are. There we are. So in other words, they're thinking about like companies that have good earnings and dividends that are in the tech arena, like at Apple. Like that's Tesla right there. There's pressure on that this morning. You see that? Now let's go take a look at Apple. There's Apple. And Apple's trying to climb into it, closed in a weekly buy last week. It's looking very firm in here. It's been in a daily buy since right there. So, money is coming into that area and thinking, this is do some like the silver. Where can Apple really go? Back down to 115.20? That's I kind of doubt that we're going to see much more than something like that. So why not step up and buy some of this, especially when you're paid to do so? Remember, a lot of funds are paid to be long. And supposedly they're supposed to be smart when they're long. In other words, do it the right way. So it wouldn't surprise me any that we see that type of action in here. And then you go and look at something like an Amazon. Same thing. Let's see if we can do this. Why not? That's what do we want to do? We want to recycle that. There we are. You can see they're still adjusting for the split. Is it Amazon that did the split, or is it Google that did the split? Let me just double check. I think it was Amazon did the split, right? Yeah. So now Amazon, there it is right there. So it's down in the 111 area. Like that. And the weekly has been real flatlined on the plus side. And you can see it went into the daily buy there the same way. You can see the way this thing follows the math pretty well. It has that, total, follow the yellow brick road type of attitude. Yeah, I would think that's the next show is that you're seeing companies like this. Look at the low back in the middle or beginning of June. Was almost went down to the century mark, 102.01 low, and now it's trading in the like the 118, 119. In this case here, now it's at 111, but it traded as high as 116.99, and then right there it traded as high as 117.98. So bottom fishing is coming in. I mean, people are starting to the dollar cost average into these things. They do pay dividends, and they're not going to go away. So. And I imagine Meta would be the next one to look at. Right there. And Meta is trying to get into a weekly buy. So far, no luck. It's been in a weekly sell since the $200 area. And it fell down to the 150 area, 154, something like that. And you can see here it's trying to lift back up again. And you can see that's very close to a weekly buy right there. And Meta has is probably one of the more successful platforms of advertisement, and that's where they make their money. It's all that advertisement stuff going on. So now, what else can we say? I guess that's about it. But that's a good little show of how those NASDAQ 100 stocks are starting to really turn. It's not every one of them. And you saw Tesla. They're doing something. I don't know what's out today about Tesla, but obviously, it's pretty much unchanged, really. But the math is really trying to roll over. And we're in a weekly buy just for 1 week. This is going the second week, and it's barely holding up. I keep on hearing some complaints about... he's more focused on Twitter than he is on Tesla, all that other stuff. I guess they really want a chairman to hold everybody's hand. And obviously, Musk is a great chairman. So that's the answer to that one, really. Now, what other ones in there? Take a look at Google. The big search engine trying to get into a sell today as we start off the day, but it's in the weekly buy for a week. So, went into the weekly sell up in here, and it rolled down about 600 points, and then now we're kind of bouncing back up from that. It doesn't surprise me any. Like I said, I would a lot of funds, the majority of funds, 80-90% of them are paid to buy. They're not paid to short it. They're paid to hedge it, they're paid to protect it, but they are paid to be longs, not shorts. So in other words, for every fund out there that's a short, there must be 100 funds there's a long, that type of thing, maybe even 1,000. I mean, not many. You got some funds like the way they have those long short things, and the X, the triple X and the quadruple X and all this, or the double X and so forth. So they're forced to sell because investors want to be short. But overall, most of the funds only go in the right direction. Huh. They're showing a gallon of gas oil in England for the automobile at $8.80 or $8.76, something like that. Almost twice as us. All right, where else should we go? Anybody else have an opinion? What should we even label this webinar? How about gold or silver versus the dollar? That's a good one. Silver versus the dollar. Because definitely silver is being sold down because the dollar is so strong. So I guess we'll label this one silver versus the dollar. That sounds like a fair thing. Anybody else have an opinion on that? If not, we'll go with that one. Hmm. It is. It is what it is. And it's really, again, I have to throw this out there before I start singing, and that is, I'm really, really, really surprised that the crypto has not been able to find its own kind of arena, its own direction. Instead, it just seems like it just is constantly following the leaders. And that's really the disappointing part of it. There we are. All right. Silver pair dollar. Let's see, not pair. Name it something else. I don't know. Is it inverse? Maybe something like that. All right, traders, we're going to get out of here. This is Doc from North America. We will catch you all tomorrow, same time, same channel. It is Happy to Hump Day tomorrow. So, happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends. All right, traders, catch you later.